And I love those kind of visual callbacks and those moments where things are in communication with each other across the movie. We had cut that one that was earlier in the film, and it probably should have stayed because I thought it was a really cool moment.
So I'm a big commentary guy, and so I watch the film with commentary, and it is so informative. You tell the viewer so much during every scene. So I have to know, for a commentary, do you have notes prepared, or is it just rapid fire memory recall?
Oh, it was all rapid fire memory recall, you know. I mean, look, you spend so much time in the editing room, working and finessing every single moment. So, and it was great having Kramer Morgenthau, the DP, be a part of it. So as we're talking, things just start coming back to you. That was a really, really fun commentary to record.
Well, I listened to a lot of commentaries, and I counted one lull. Otherwise, it was pretty much nonstop throughout, which is insanely impressive. And like the MCU has some great commentaries, but the industry goes through periods where they aren't as in vogue or used as much. Why do you think it's important that we get these filmmaker commentary tracks?
I think it's great to get an insight into the decisions that were made because I think, you know, it's an opportunity to get a greater appreciation of how the story came together, to get a sense of some of the intentionality behind it. I think sometimes it's easier to watch a movie and you get lost in the storytelling or you're thinking or reacting to a certain thing. But then you forget that everything had a real journey onto the screen. And there's a lot of reasons why choices get made a certain way. For me too, I got to film school. I learned a tremendous amount watching movies on DVDs and listening to commentary. So for anybody out there who is interested or eager to learn about filmmaking and about how directing or cinematography or just other choices get made, I wanted to be able to share and give back in that way because it was something that was super helpful for me when I was developing my career.
Well, I feel sorry for the next person who watches the movie with me because I know I'm just going to be leaning over to them and telling them all this cool stuff that I had learned. What was the biggest thing that you learned from working on this film?
You know, the biggest thing I learned from working on this film, because it was something that was, I think, newer to me, was just the machinery of a movie like this, right, is something that is so fun to wield, but at the same time requires so much specific detail. And I'm a very detail oriented person. I love the preparation process, but the ability to go even deeper with stunt viz and previs and all those different elements when it comes to planning how you're staging a scene or thinking through action sequences or whatever the case might be, that was something that was really fun to learn how to play with on a huge scale where almost anything is possible.
Yeah.
So it's something I really look forward to using everything I learned on other projects going forward.
When getting into the film itself, there's the phrase, sometimes you have to kill your baby in terms of cutting something that you really love. What was your baby in this film, and did it make it to the big screen?
Wow. You know, with every movie, you kill a few darlings, right? Because whether it's just pace or story or clarity, whatever the case might be, um, I would say there are a couple of action beats that I really miss. You know, in that hallway fight, there was a high speed shot where Sam had done a flip that and landed on the shield, sort of knocking somebody out that in some ways becomes a little tease and a predecessor of a flip that he does later on in the movie when he slices a car. And I love those kind of visual callbacks and those moments where things are in communication with each other across the movie. We had cut that one that was earlier in the film, and it probably should have stayed because I thought it was a really cool moment.
Yeah. Well, and is there a moment when you're watching Harrison Ford do motion capture for Red Hulk where you just have to pinch yourself as to such the like the unreal experience that it is? Because it's
There is, it's a quick pinch because you're also like, we got this much time, we got this much work to do, so we got to go. And that's the thing about it. Like you have these moments where you're like, I can't believe this is happening. But filmmaking is always up against the clock. So as much as you want to just be like, wow, oh my God, you then just have to get to work. So, but that was really cool that he was game for that. I mean, Harrison is an incredibly self-aware person. So he also knows how much fun it is for us to be seeing him. And he loves to play into it, the way he's sort of coming in and playing around with there was a point in time, actually, it didn't make the movie, where Red Hulk, um harking back to publishing, wielded a gun. And it
Oh,
just didn't feel quite right for the actual
yeah.
movie. But we did have a moment with Harrison shooting as Red Hulk with a gun, and that was one of those moments of like, I can't believe this is happening right now. And he plays into it in a way that's really fun because he knows we're geeking out.
Did you find it tough to give direction to someone of Harrison Ford's stature?
No, because an actor can't see themselves. As experienced and as skilled and as capable as he is, he still needs to trust that a director is going to help guide and protect a performance.
Yeah.
So, I come from the theater. That was what my first degree was in. So it's something I try to be very conscientious of in terms of being there for the cast.
Well, and there was a lot of talk about the production of this film. Was the media narrative around the reshoots blown out of proportions?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, every movie has an element of reshoots. Every movie of the scale, a lot of movies that we all know and love. It's a natural part of the production. And I think it was a narrative that sort of had a runaway train that people got caught up on. But at the end of the day, that's just simply a part of movie making. So I personally don't get overly focused on it. And while we were making the film, we just always focused on making the movie that we wanted to make. And that's what we got out there in the world.
Well, I'm a big Rosa Salazar fan, so I was really looking forward to her version of Diamondback. Do you ever think we'll ever get to see that footage?
Let's see, I'm a huge Rosa Salazar fan too. She's somebody I've known for a very long time. She's such a tremendous actress. And, look, the beautiful thing about the MCU is never say never. Who would have thought that we'd be seeing Tim Blake Nelson back in this movie? So
Yeah.
I would just say, as a fan, wait and see.
Awesome. Well, this may sound like a simple question, but I know it can go many, I know, but as a comic fan, I know this can go many different ways. What was your favorite part of getting to make a Captain America movie?
Ooh, working with the cast,
The cast.
again, my background's in theater, so I love working with actors, and the cast on this movie: Anthony Mackie, Tim Blake Nelson, Giancarlo Esposito, Zosha Rockamore, Danny Ramirez. I mean, the list goes on and on. Harrison Ford, Carl Lumbly. What an incredible group of people to work with, Shira Haas. I'm so grateful for the fact that they all came in and gave it their all and were so prepared and so hardworking and cared so much. And it's all up there on screen. So I'm very grateful for
Is there anything fun that you were able to take home from set as a keepsake?
that. There's a pair of brass knuckles that I was able to take home that I really, really love. But there's also, it wasn't necessarily a prop in the film, but there's an apple box that one of the on-set decorators made that was just a really sweet gesture that I'm super happy about. So I have that with another apple box from another film. So I just need a third apple box. So I have my trio of painted apple boxes. It's a nice little set.
That's amazing. Well, what's next for you? Do you hope to stick around the MCU or do you have your sights set elsewhere?
I never thought I would be in the MCU, and here I am. So I try to stay open-minded. Whatever comes next comes next. I have a couple of things that are brewing that I'm super excited about. And when they get out there, they'll get out there. I don't want to jinx anything, but this was an awesome experience. So, I look forward to a lot of everything. How
Yeah.
about that?
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. JoBlo was created by movie fans for movie fans, and we appreciate your support.